Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. I am JT.
Hey guys, Joey here.
And we are talking about marijuana and BJJ. Is it a great combo or a nightmare mix?
Ha! How often do you blaze?
Bro, I don't. I'm anti-blaze.
What do you know about it?
Man, I used to blaze in high school. I used to hit that year 8, year 9. And I can't say it was good because it chilled me, but it definitely didn't help my studying, that's for sure. And then it might have been a little bit at uni and stuff, but I think because I've just done the athlete thing, I never found it was performance enhancing.
Right.
So, I am, for all intensive purposes, a lazy child at heart. Even though I do lots of extreme things to counter that, I don't need anything curbing my enthusiasm. But the popularization of marijuana with jiu-jitsu, this, shakas, brah, go for a surf, cruise. Even, Joe Rogan, as much as he's encouraged a lot of people to do jiu-jitsu, which is cool, he's also a big proponent of smoking the chiba.
He is.
And I'm not on that. And
Not with it.
10th Planet crew too, right? There's a
10th
whole
Planet, yeah, the whole Eddie Bro, like the whole high rollers.
high rollers.
High rollers is the thing. For anyone there's people listening that don't know what high rollers is, it's a jiu-jitsu comp where you have to smoke a blunt before you roll.
Yep.
And then you I think you share it with your opponent,
Yeah,
or you
maybe.
both have one.
Yep.
And then you roll, and the room, it's always in California, and the room is just like
Just-
a haze of fucking weed smoke. It's incredible. And the winner gets a huge bag of weed.
Jeff Glover.
Yeah. It's actually fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like as an offshoot thing, but it's taken it to an extreme, no doubt.
But I think this is my take, and we can go back and forth on this. I understand why people smoke weed. There's no misinterpretation of that. The misunderstanding or the misattribution of goodness it does for you is there. It's been popularized. Get rid of your pain and help you sleep and all this stuff. It's all rubbish. Like, the science doesn't support that. Marijuana is not performance enhancing. Like, in terms of run faster, lift heavier, be fitter. Can it relax your state of mind and open you up to be more creative? Possibly. So I see your face, Joe's like,
Let's challenge this.
I have a counterpoint to this. So if you see the creative element or the chill element to allow you to unlock some special quality, that's okay. But if we look at absolutely the world champions in jiu-jitsu, they're taking steroids, they're taking EPO, they're not smoking weed.
Yeah.
Other than the Rotolo brothers who love edibles.
Do they?
Right. They crush edibles.
San Diego, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Shout out Rotolo
Buy a cup
brothers.
of coffee, you get a free edible.
Well, I mean, what do you think, Joe? Like, what is your take on it?
Well, yeah. So I guess I don't see how something like weed could be a performance enhancer, right? Because you're generally not looking for something to, like, weed down regulates you.
Yeah.
It chills you out.
It brings the nervous system down touch.
So I think it has a place as a recovery enhancer,
Right?
right? So, like that. That's how I use it. I vape a little bit.
Sure.
And to be honest, I hadn't vaped for, probably 3 months, and then I got it out last weekend.
Okay.
It's a little bit, I got to charge it.
Yeah.
Got to mulch up some weed.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, and so I packed it, and then, wait for the kids to go to bed, and then a couple hits of that. And, Friday, Saturday night, real nice.
Cruising.
And just watching telly, eating some fucking Cocoa Pops or
Super
something.
chill.
like it's, and so for me that I'm like, undoubtedly that made the 2 hours before going to bed, like, really low key. It just switched the mind off.
Yeah.
So I think it has a place for on that side of things. And I'm by no means saying that I think it's an essential part of it.
No.
But the people, and I've never rolled high. I've got no interest
Right.
in. I mean, I'm interested to try it. I said,
Fucking try it, bro.
yeah, I'll do it. I said, before recording this, I was like, all right, I'll vape a little bit one morning before we do our Tuesday session, and we'll see.
Joe is
fucking see, bro.
Joe's imagining he's going to levitate through my guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to double knee ride his ribs. Like, if you ever come to class and you're high, I will fucking wreck you. As an asthmatic young child and someone who's battled, like, not being able to breathe most of my childhood, I would never electively do anything that's going to impede that. If you think that, inhibiting your ability to breathe, inhibiting your ability to critically problem solve is going to give you the advantage against me, you're seriously mistaken, my friend. I've been up since 4 a.m.
Activated much?
plotting your demise. That's what I do, man.
I'll be like, bro, you can eat right all you want. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'm in a good place right now.
Yeah, so but I've had training partners over the years. One who you're going to meet when you get to Berlin.
Oh, nice.
You'll see, who are big fans of smoking weed.
Sure.
And big fans of, Marcus wouldn't roll high, but he at times he had.
Sure.
It wasn't a common thing he'd do from what I can remember, but he'd be like, "Man, it's actually really good," because how he described it was that it kind of just trimmed off that little top layer of anxiety. And that anxiety is what makes you second guess.
It holds people back.
Yeah, and it makes you pause, and it whereas if you just remove that and say you just go into your thing and you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
And it allowed, people talk about like it helps them flow. My God, that's fascinating,
Yeah, and it's not that it doesn't do that, but here is the flip side on that. And it's the same thing with being reliant on caffeine relative to performance. You've created dependency. So what happens when you can't have that?
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that can double heighten the anxiety. It's not that it's not just that you've lost your ability to remove the anxiety. You're now like, now I don't have my anxiety fixer. Double.
For sure.
And so.
But is that enough to make you stop drinking coffee? Because what if someone takes it away someday?
Well, I think I'm going to have to take it away someday.
You're not going to, though.
Well, no, I'm in the process. Like I actually think my consumption of coffee has aged me. I personally feel that.
Yeah.
It's just too much adrenaline.
But I know, like there's downsides. But my point is like, just in a society where things are available.
Sure.
Like I get it, and I don't think you want to develop a dependency on anything. But I'm sure there's people like, yeah, I get high like and train like once a month, and it's like if I'm without it, it's okay. Like I'll survive. But I like to do that once a month.
I'm going to break down the science on this, people. Whatever you say about THC, people are like, show me the studies. It's a metabolite. Same thing with like alcohol. It's a metabolite. You have to break it down in your liver at a critical point. Your liver is the filter. If you're giving your liver a job other than producing enzymes for digestion and then pumping out glycogen to your muscles when you fucking need it, you're lifting weights. It's like when you eat food. If you eat too soon before a workout, you're going to feel really sick. It takes energy to do. The more work you give your body to do, other than focusing on strangling me, you're behind. I'm trying to free it up as much as I can. And I had actually said before, I actually try not to caffeinate too close to training because I feel like I get dehydrated. Like that's true. I'm a sweaty guy. If I have caffeine, I'm just, I'm dumping water and I get dehydrated and then I don't perform.
You're that Key and P meal meme. Where it's just the guy looking and he's just blinking and just sweating.
Yeah, that's me before even doing anything. So that's why usually I'll give myself a good window of 2 hours of no caffeine, but plenty of water to just be able to stay hydrated. But essentially...
Suck a couple of cones 2 hours before. Your metabolizers are out of the way. Good to go.
It takes a month to get out your system, man. No, I think it's this mysticism that if you look at and I'm always looking at improving athleticism. So it was like, I don't know if you guys remember when power bands came out, there was like a little hologram and you put it around your wrist.
Silicon band. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, look, I turn and move my arm. I can't move it that far. I put it on the power band. Look, I can move further. And they were, they had no serious athletes endorsing it. It was like a retired Shaquille O'Neal, some surfer guy, a skater, dudes that just perform anyway, it doesn't matter. You're not seeing like Miroslav from, deep Eastern Europe picking up 500 kilos on the deadlift with a power band on his wrist.
Right, yeah.
It's a fucking scam. The thing is, most people who are promoting smoking weed and doing jiu-jitsu, it's bro town. If you look at the highest level performers in the world, and people are like, yo, what about the Diaz brothers, man? Yo, they got cardio for days. They be smoking weed. It's like, yeah. But you got to look at that and say they perform in spite of them smoking weed. Like, it's not that it enhances. Like, yeah, they might be ADHD. It calms them down. It does whatever. That's fine. But how good could their cardio be if they did not smoke weed. Like the Tour de France guys are not smoking weed. They're taking EPO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like look at the people who are the fittest people in the world with the lowest resting heart rates. Like that's not what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to people outside of jiu-jitsu to go, what does the strongest guy in the world do? Oh, he doesn't do that. What does the fittest person in the world do? Oh, they don't do that. It's like, what do they do? I'm not saying go out and take EPO, even though if you've got the budget, it's better than steroids. I've never taken it, but if you've got that $3,000 a month type budget and you want to get fit, that's your liquid fitness right there. Really, it's not a performance enhancer. I wouldn't do it. That's me.
I think there's I kind of see a couple of different contexts relevant to that, which is like maybe the Diaz brothers are exceptional because from what I understand, they're getting high and then they're fighting in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like they're literally getting high and then stepping in the cage,
Yeah.
which is like competing at the highest level.
But I think that they would be, you know, like
Yeah, they're so dependent on it that it would fuck them up to not
if
be
they
high.
didn't take it.
Yeah, and that's a thing that like once you get so deep into something, it's just a part of you.
Yeah.
And we've all had those friends who are just married to the weed, and it's
Can't
a lifelong
function without
relationship.
it.
Yeah. You know, and there's people that do that with alcohol and with all sorts of drugs, right? So it's amazing what the body's capable of once you're dependent on something. But say like with the weed culture in jiu-jitsu, yeah, okay, like you look at these the guys that you see, the Merengalis, the Taliesin Suarez, the guys who are competing at these top levels. Yeah, at that level of the game, you don't want to be high in a competition. You gotta fucking bring it, right?
Yeah.
But where I see the weed culture of jiu-jitsu really flourishes is this, it's the lifestyle jiu-jitsu player. It's the everyday Porhada. I'm in the gym. I'm just fucking training, getting after it, like round after round. Like I'm a mat rat, and I'm fucking baked. And you know, and it's not, and it's a different context, you know. And I'm not for or against, right? I'm not like saying it's good.
I am directly against.
But I can see like, okay, that's where it really grows. And I think culturally for jiu-jitsu, that's where people attach to it.
I think it's not helpful. I think, you know, whatever, maybe I'm a bit more kind of straight edge. It's not to say, you know, like I said, I've smoked weed, I've taken plenty of drugs in my time. But
Well, how many drugs you taken?
Fucking a bunch. I've taken a bunch, you know. But I think I'm already a pretty uninhibited individual. I think that's what I realize about myself. I'm a bit crazy.
Well, you also
I don't need drugs to go there.
But you operate on high energy.
Yeah.
Like that's your
That's a downer, like, yeah.
Yeah, right. Whereas, and to a point, so do I. So to me, it's like it feel like if you're of that mindset, then it's like, well, it's a bit counter to how you want to feel.
Operate. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'm like, well, it obviously does help a lot of these people. I don't know.
Sure.
Be more creative or enjoy it in a particular way.
Sure.
And you know, and like say, like I can think of guys that we've rolled with.
Sure.
Won't mention any names, who are fucking baked every time we roll with them, and they have a certain way of rolling. And I tell you what, it just, I don't know if it goes hand in hand, but they're just always squirming and they're never out of breath and they always keep coming and you're like, man, this guy's so fucking baked. I don't know if he knows what's going on right now, but I just snapped his spine with this stack pass. But
Right.
you know, it's like different folks.
I understand that. I feel like whatever you might say about certain things being acceptable within jiu-jitsu, it's not as helpful as it seems. I think people are like, oh, this must be a good thing, you know, like Rogan does it. Yeah, Rogan is also on like enough TRT to kill a horse.
Yeah, but Rogan doesn't roll either. Like he doesn't do jiu-jitsu anymore.
He does sometimes, but I'm saying that like
I don't. Yeah, but it's not like, I mean, you know, he smokes weed, and he is a jiu-jitsu guy.
But he has advocated for it. He's like, oh yeah, guys in Brazil X Y Z. Like it's just confirmation bias. I'm not going to get into it. Whatever, Rogan to the side. I'm saying the fact that it is like a really accepted part of jiu-jitsu culture, I think is outdated.
Right.
And I think the fact that steroids on a very like a very below the surface level is like really accepted in jiu-jitsu is also a problem because it's not as openly discussed. But so many guys, like if we think marijuana use is more like lower level guys, steroid use in the upper echelon of jiu-jitsu is rampant. And I think that's a problem. And no one's really talking about that either, because people who do jiu-jitsu are not that scientific and they're not managing it that well. You know, unfortunately, even though we are all about the longevity because we appreciate, you know, it is a long journey and you want to be healthy, both those behaviors don't speak to longevity in the game necessarily.
Right.
This is where I'm circling back around.
Yeah.
I think if you can, health is a vicarious thing. Something might strike you down, like some kind of terrible disease for whatever reason. Could be cancer, could be whatever. And I'm not saying, oh, smoke weed, you get cancer, but I'm just saying, like, if we think whatever you can do to keep yourself as healthy as possible, minimizing any kind of drugs, in my opinion, whether it's big pharma medications, you know, painkillers, anti-inflammatories, like I definitely think you shouldn't take those things. But I also think the same thing relevant to smoking weed as well.
Yeah, and I see that stance. For me, I think I see more of a grey area because, like, as using myself as an example, a part of health is being able to relax, right, and get some, like, chill out, get some recovery, switch off from it all. And so if being able to vape a little bit of weed allows me to access that, and I get like one night in the week where I'm like, oh, fuck, I was super chilled out and then I had a really deep sleep, and I'm like, well, that was improving my health. Even though, and I vape it, right? I don't smoke it because the smoke fucks my lungs up these days. Like, I don't want to, I think, yeah, like burning plant material and inhaling that into your lungs, that fucks you up.
Yes,
you know, I'm like vaping. I don't know what the science is, but it's way less harsh when I do it. Sure. Bucket bongs, you know, they're kind of up there with nice and friendly way to do it.
No, that's how my friends, if you ever wanted to get...
I did a bucket bong once. I never did it ever again. I was like 12.
Yeah, it's a high school.
Oh, bro.
That's some 15 years old type bullshit.
But you know, that's where I see its nuance, because it's like, yeah, well,
But how about, that's where I go, well, how about meditation, people? Like,
yeah, but
if you can't sit still with your thoughts, and I work on this, right? This is something I struggle with, right? Sitting still and trying to still my mind and just fucking breathe is the hardest single thing I can do.
Yeah.
Right? But that takes work. The value in it is...
I've been working all week. But seriously, like on a Saturday night, I'm like, I want to sit down and do some hard mental work. Don't think about, you know, focus on no, man, I want to fucking put Netflix on, suck on this little black device a couple times, eat a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Like, sure. Like, and I'm all about the work, right? You know that.
No, I know you're a hard worker.
But I'm just pointing to, like, I think I see a place for it personally.
Sure.
You know, and I think that, you know, I feel the same about, like, I mean, I'm not even talking about steroids and shit because it's a whole different thing, but recreational drug use, like, yeah, of course, like, drugs typically are bad for your health. They will fuck you up.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, hey, if you want to go out like once every, you know, couple times a year and have a bit of a blowout, that's probably good for your health.
Sure.
Like on one aspect.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there is something to be said for being able to relax.
Can I tell a story about when I took drugs and trained jiu-jitsu the next day?
Is this the We can. You got 2 minutes,
Let me tell you this story.
All right.
Is this a short episode?
It is.
Oh, fuck.
That's okay. Let's go.
All right. So I was out. I can't remember how. I was probably like mid-20s. I think I was a blue belt at the time.
Sure.
Went out on a Sunday night. I'm fucking mid-20s because I'm going out on a Sunday night.
Sunday session.
Working like freelance and shit. So I didn't have any work. So I'm out Sunday night. It's pretty big. Someone gave me a little capsule.
Of course.
Right? And I had this thing and I drank. We had a great night.
Sure.
Some clubs, whatever. Did
Good
things.
times.
And I, you know, had a great night. Got home late. Woke up. The next afternoon, I was at the beach and at Bondi Beach, because where I was living, and I ran into some of the guys from Jits, and they're like, hey man, you coming in tonight? And I'm like, nah man, like had a bit of a night last night, like I can't. And they're like, bro, you had the night, you have to come to training. Like that's the price you pay, you come train.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, I'll fucking be there.
Fine.
Turned up to training, didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Got in there. I actually rolled with a black belt this night, I remember.
Oh.
I hit 7 double leg takedowns on this fucking black belt
You were in the zone.
Dude, I was fucking on fire. I was so fast, and I never double leg. Like I've done about like 7 in my whole life.
Right.
I was just fucking blitzing everyone.
whoa,
It's
whoa.
like neurons were just like pew, 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 pew. I was like, it was limitless. I was Bradley Cooper tearing the mat up. And I walked out of that session like, I'm a fucking savage.
I'm a god.
I'm such a savage.
Wow.
And so Tuesday night, I'm like, I'm back at training. I rocked up, slapped hands, and I just got fucking pummeled by everyone for the whole session. I was
wore
so slow.
You wore off the down.
Yeah. And it was night and day. It was like, holy shit, I was still under the influence
Yeah,
of
wow.
whatever was in that capsule.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I was like, man, I was like a different fucking species last night.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
today I'm just a slug.
The wave it crested. That's awesome. That's so good.
Take that with you guys. Make of it what you will.
All right.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys. Hey, check us out on YouTube. We've got heaps of great videos there, strength, mobility, and a bit of entertaining stuff. Plus, you can see all these episodes. You can watch the videos of us doing the potty. We'll catch you guys next week.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.